the advent of quantum computing, it's going to crush everything we know today. AI is going to hit a certain peak, and the average computer is not going to be able to process it. Quantum is the way. What's it going to take to crack our current cryptography system? A matter of mere seconds. Once a true quantum computer comes out, it won't take very long. The current cryptography we have in place, it'll be done. It's gone. Hackers are now switching from the current ransomware and moving more into being able to crack passwords, keystrokes, and everything else. It is not hard for them to do this. Hackers are getting more sophisticated, and starting with Bush all the way through Trump's first administration, the Biden administration, current administration, they keep kicking the can down the road. It's not just them. The financial sector is not taking it serious enough. Quantum is going to be the new war front. If we don't get our hands on that and start moving with it, not just AI, quantum has to be hand in hand with AI. They have to go together. Those are some things I'm bringing to the market that nobody else is willing to offer in this country.
Hey, let's welcome my guest, Jesse Davis, U.S. Army veteran and advocate for veterans' post-service career, as well as a founder of CyberRST. Welcome to the show, sir, and good to see you today.
You as well. Thank you.
Absolutely. Could you start with your background and your story to better understand where you come from, what you did in the past, and what led you to start your current cybersecurity company? Today, I want to tell you about a book I'm reading. It's written by 25 veterans of the U.S. Armed Forces, all graduates of the Masters of Business for Veterans program at the University of Southern California. The book is called Veteran Stories of Transition and Transformation. It collects the personal stories of veterans written in their own words. Pick it up for yourself or a veteran you love. Check out the link in the description for 10% off.
So, I've started in the Navy Reserve. I did some active reserve time there, meaning I was activated. I was in the Seabees, went to Iraq in 2008. I've been in a total with the Army 10 years in the active Army Reserve. I was in civil affairs. I was a recruiter for a decade. I put 250 or 300 people in the Army in, my 10 years. And I got out last year due to some medical issues in March. And I had achieved my master's in cyber while I was on active duty. And I got out and I was teaching college. And I ultimately was trying to work my way into the government to do cyber. And unfortunately, I got let go April of this year. And then when I tried to get into the regular job market, along with the government comebacks, there's no jobs in cyber. The one thing that I was lacking was experience. And I feel that, I thought I was good to go. I've got a top secret clearance. I've got my master's in cybersecurity, and I hold Security Plus. Everybody said, hey, that's the way to go. You'll be able to get a job easily. And I put in, by the time I was said and done, to get my current position for the current job I have, which is not cyber, it's IT. I was about 1,500 tries just on LinkedIn, and it doesn't include Glassdoor or Indeed or any of the other job sites. Clearancejobs.com, none of it, right? And I saw this problem, and I've been seeing this problem that needs to be fixed. I'm tired of seeing my fellow brothers and sisters in arms, their spouses not being able to get a job. There's over 500,000 jobs in cybersecurity open right now. But everybody that's hiring wants 1 to 3 years of experience. Well, how are you going to get it if nobody's going to offer it? So that's why I started my company. I said, you know what, it's time for somebody to do some, hands-on, some apprenticeship. Teach the systems that are out there and combine the practical knowledge, reading a book and be able to apply it, the application side of things, and being able to make sure that this situation is fixed. And I want to see people have a job. They have a career.
So you started this company as a way to help fellow service members who are retired now to get that experience that will allow them to find other jobs in the future or gain this experience, which is vital for finding the jobs. Is that right?
That is correct.
I see. And we talked a little bit offline about the threats in the cybersecurity space, which come from our adversaries. And then, in this geopolitical world, we have a lot of different players. We have China, we have their allies. And you told me a little bit about the risks and the threats that the United States has because of these cybersecurity vulnerabilities. Could you speak to that a little bit and explain to the audience, especially those without this background, what are the threats and how can we deal with them?
So obviously, a nation states, as some would call it, especially in the cybersecurity realm, the United States is a nation state, Russia's a nation state, China's a nation state, right? Being any kind of country that wants power, right? Your technology is always going to be there. I don't care if it was the chariot that made the Egyptians strong, Rome, which made them strong simply by roads, right? How do they connect their cities with roads? How did the British control the world navy, their navy, right? And how did the United States ultimately control the world nukes, right? Now, the new up and coming threat is China. China is, I want to give an example, Huawei, counterpart of mine, worked for them and has spoken that about what Huawei does compared to the United States. They took 10,000 PhDs and threw it right at AI. 10,000 people with a PhD, meaning that's as high as you can get. You're an expert in that field. Threw them at the problem, and look where they're at. China's doing very well. Now, there's a lot of things that we've lacked, from starting with Bush all the way through Trump's first administration, the Biden administration, current administration. They keep kicking the can down the road. It's not just them. The financial sector is not taking it serious enough. Hacking in 2023, I'll just give a quick example of just how quick and easy it is to take over a system. A 15-year-old child, let me repeat that one more time, a 15-year-old child faked the funk, acted like he was one of the employees at MGM Grand, cost them over $100 million for something as simple as, hey, I work here, please give me a temporary password. He then went in and hacked with a group that he was with, hacked them, held them for ransom, something called ransomware, but holding them for ransom. Then, with the help of Black Cat, the hacking group out of Russia, which are a bunch of hacking criminals, literally cost MGM Grand $100 million in the blink of an eye. Everything was down. Emails, phones, that nobody could book anything. MGM is obviously they make movies. It's not just a casino, but the hacking of that casino did irreparable damage, right, to their reputation. And again, it's just blink of an eye, they keep going. Nobody's fixing the problem. The government is with the current CMMC along with the JSIG. Things I hope are going to change in the right direction, but they're not. They're not taking this as serious as it should be. And there's plenty of people coming out of college, university level, having their certifications, having their degree, but are not getting hands-on, right? And the financial sector should be taking this a lot more serious. But that 15-year-old kid is now facing probably 15, 20 years or more in prison. $100 million in the blink of an eye gone. Turned himself in to law enforcement earlier this year. And like I said, they're charging him as an adult. He's not getting juvenile hall, but he's going to prison, federal prison. And it's something that could have been prevented. Simple training should have been done just for the average employee, right? So now imagine this on the fact that the United States has bases all over the world. How much would it take to take over? Not much. Hackers are now switching to or from the current ransomware and moving more into being able to crack passwords, keystrokes, and everything else. It is not hard for them to do this. Hackers are getting more sophisticated, and I'm pretty sure if you talk to enough people in the field, they're taking this too lackadaisical. The corporate level is not putting enough time and effort into this, and they're not listening to the talent that they have. You have a CISO for a reason, Chief Information Security Officer. That's their job. It's no different than a Chief Financial Officer. Like, you probably shouldn't make this move financially. When your CISO comes to you and says you probably should not make this move technologically, you probably shouldn't do it, but it's still done. And unfortunately, it is costing the American taxpayer a lot of money. It is. Once quantum computing, it really takes hold, what's it going to take to crack our current cryptography system? A matter of mere seconds. Once a true quantum computer comes out, it won't take very long. The current cryptography we have in place, it'll be done. It's gone.
Yeah, so from what I can hear, there are two sides of this. First, there is a real problem. We have corporate sector, we have the United States government, which are vulnerable to those cyber attacks. On the other side, we have hundreds of thousands of junior cybersecurity professionals, analysts, and so on who could contribute to solving this problem, but it seems that the main issue here is lack of awareness in both the government and the private sector, where they don't take it seriously enough, this problem. And in your view, what needs to be changed to fix this issue? Should people, advocate for this change like you do, or maybe inside companies, inside the governments, people on every level should try to encourage their management or their whoever is in their chain of command to take this more seriously, or what needs to be done for this?
The first thing that's got to be done is training. You have to teach everybody what is a basic insider threat. An insider threat isn't always somebody wanting to get revenge, right? I'm not saying it doesn't take place because it does take place. There's plenty of people that get mad at their company and will do anything they can to gain financially or crush that company's reputation. It happens all the time. But the biggest insider threat is complacency, meaning somebody gets too busy in their pattern, gets too comfortable, and they don't pay attention, right? That's a human being. But if you get them thinking in the back of their mind, from top down, right, starting at the CEO, at the board of executives, it's not a hard fix. It's really not. I understand where companies are coming from. They're not wanting to put money into somebody who will get a year or two under their belt and then bounce to the next company because they're looking for that dollar. When I was younger, I chased the dollar. I understand that. For me, this is about a passion, right? Now, I'm trying to solve a problem. That problem being, what is the hiccup here? What is causing this pain? And then again, it's not just the corporate world. You're looking at the medical industry, you're looking at aviation, right? The hacking recently of the airports on the East Coast and in Canada, and they were playing propaganda over the speakers in the airport in support of Palestine, right? Stuff like this should not be taking place. Now there should be a lot more secure. And now imagine if this took place with our nuclear arsenal. That's what I'm saying. It's not being taken serious enough. It's not a hard fix. It's really not. It's not. And if the conversation needs to be had, I feel like sometimes people need to put on a helmet because life is going to be hard, right? It really is. Put on a helmet. Life is going to be hard. You're the one making it hard though. And in this situation, what I'm trying to get at is that why make it hard? It's a very simplistic fix. In that stating, you would have to look at where's the problem. Part of it, you have to start locally. There's hackings at the city, county level, and then it goes up to state. Now you're talking a region, and then the country. So, whenever they hacked the fuel line in Alabama, which is a major fuel line, people were freaking out. Look at the article. It's another example. How quick things can go awry and how fragile our society is. Instead of fighting amongst each other over really nothing, we need to be focusing on some serious problems. China wants to overtake us, and it won't be hard. When somebody has a purpose, they have a passion, and that passion is going to be driven. My purpose, I feel, is to fix this problem.
And what do you think is the end goal that China has when it comes to this war that, in some sense, that they impose on the United States now? Do they want to become a major power geopolitically and project their power on our allies, or is their ultimate goal is to invade the United States and take the territory? Where do you think their finish line is?
I don't feel like they want to invade the United States. Nobody would really want to do a land invasion in the United States when you have the world's largest army. Good luck taking over Texas, all right? There's enough gun-toting rednecks that you're probably going to get shot, right? I joke about that, but Florida ain't far behind. You got the Carolinas. Like I said, we have more guns than we do people. I wish them best of luck in that sense, but I feel they don't have to take over physically. How hard is it to take over a country now? I mean, look what happened with Russia and Ukraine with the sanctions. China wants us out of the way because they want to be the world leading political power, financially speaking as well. It wouldn't be hard for them to take the place of that. And when it comes to our allies, I will never forget when the European Union was talking about bringing in Chinese cell phone towers because they don't want to create their own, right? Use Huawei's towers. You think they're not going to be listening in to your military? Like I said, buy a helmet because life is going to be hard. And that's another instance. Like, should I do that? That's literally like cutting your wrist and swimming around with a pool of great whites. It's not gonna end well for you. Is there a possibility that they could take over the United States financially speaking? Oh yeah, politically speaking for sure. After that, would they really need to invade? No. After that, they've got control. They would have literal total control. And this isn't a nightmarish scene. It's a very simple fix. It's not a hard fix.
Yeah, and it feels like the biggest weakness that we have in the United States now is the domestic division that we experience here. You know, we have completely two different worldviews within the United States with the left and the right. And it's not that hard to exploit that for our enemies. Like China can, you know, they can use TikTok. And I know that there is some deal that can potentially happen, or maybe it already happened, but there is still some kind of power that they can project there. As you said, cybersecurity risks and so on. So, would you agree that this division within the United States is one of the exploitations that they can use to dominate the United States?
Easily. It is not hard, unfortunately, in today's society, because the average person cannot put their phone down and have a simple conversation. It's just not happening anymore. You know, from religion and to politics, it's a taboo conversation, right? And by no means are we a perfect country. There's a lot of stains. But you give me one society that doesn't have. Give me one civilized country on the face of this planet, if you want to call us civilized, if you want to call any country civilized for that matter. Civilization can flourish or it can diminish, and it doesn't take long for it to fade away. Rome was around for 1,000 years. And I'm not talking about the fall of Constantinople, after the Emperor Constantine, right? Rome, the Roman Empire split into the West and the East, and the West eventually fell. What remains of the Roman Empire? The Vatican Church, if you think about it, right? Rome at the time controlled 1/3 of the known world. What brought Rome down? Political strife, greed, right? Some even say it was lead pipes, because Rome had pipes. A lot of people think, when they're looking at it historically, lead causes you to go insane, right? What the effects it does on the brain. But here's the thing. If you cannot see, as the average person cannot see that you're trying to exploit, take control, use what's in front of us, causing political strife, I don't know what to say. Right? And we as Americans need to stand up against that. I'm not saying that we need to push China completely out of the picture. Think about how much we rely upon China. And like I said, China, we're their biggest buyer. They're not just going to wipe us off the face of the map, because they go broke too. They bought a lot of our debt. So Cold War wise, it's on. I mean, the race is on between the United States and China for rare earth metals. That's just one piece of the pie. Cyber warfare is another. Who's going to have the best 6th-generation jet? Who's going to have the drones with that jet? China's not even making a true dogfighter anymore. They just want a hypersonic jet with a bunch of drones surrounding it. Ukraine has changed the face of warfare, period. Tanks, I wouldn't want to be in one right now. Ukraine showed that with just a $500 drone. No thanks, right? So again, and it comes back to the keystroke, how quick is it to send out a message like, hey, Joey called Johnny this, and it doesn't take long for misinformation and disinformation to spread. It's fake. It's amazing what you can do with AI now. So I don't know where we're at, but I know that we need to get back and focus on, what makes America a great country. What made us so strong in World War II? It wasn't because we had the largest army. It was our grit. It was our mass production. You know why? The Axis powers lost? I'm telling you, they had better technology than we did, on average. The Germans had the best technology on the face of the planet. What worked was cross collaboration, right? Working together. So America needed a better engine for their aircraft. What do? They went to Great Britain for it, right? And what did Russia need? Russia needed tanks. Who did they hit up? The United States, right? That's how we won World War II. Had we not worked together, we would have just been just like the Axis powers. Not coming together, we would have failed. There's just no way. We'd either be speaking German or maybe Italian, I don't know, Japanese right now. Kind of joking about that, but they literally made The Man in the High Tower. That's a show. It kind of gives you an idea of what it would be like. The United States would be split right down the middle, with Japan and Germany, right? So imagine again, when you come back to cybersecurity, it doesn't take much to shut off the power. It doesn't take much to mess with the food supply. That doesn't take much. And the political strife, it's got to end. Both parties are causing it, and this is why I'm right down the middle. If you can't view for yourself, I don't know what to tell you. We have some serious problems coming, and especially again with the advent of quantum computing, it's going to crush everything we know today. AI is going to hit a certain peak, and the average computer is not going to be able to process it. is the way.
Yeah, and talking about the political issues that we have here, I feel like 99% of Americans obviously don't want America to fall or to get in some kind of a domestic conflict that will prevent the US from the foreign affairs, which would be a disastrous situation. So, what people can do to not be affected by foreign influence on social media or on any other kinds of media that is out there, to make sure, as you said, to be in the middle, to stay united, because if America isn't united domestically, it's going to be hard to collaborate with other allied nations on the world stage. So do you have some advice for people in America to address that?
I do like when, like the words of a wise man once told me when I was a little kid. The guy was my dad, right? My dad always said, Jesse, don't believe what's on TV, right? Don't believe it. And I didn't understand what he meant. I was like, what do you mean? Do you need to think for yourself? Do your own research. And he reiterated that all the way through to me becoming an adult. I remember he said that all the time. I'm like, why are you telling me that? Right? I was young. I was naive. To those of you that are younger, do your own research and please think for yourself. Don't fall into any political trap, either side. I'm not saying not to have political views. What I'm saying is that you need to think for yourself. Please don't fall for anything. It doesn't take long to start a lie. What Adolf Hitler once said, and along with Joseph Goebbels, his propagandist, his leader of his propaganda, he literally stated, if you tell a lie 1,000 times, people will begin to believe it. What do you have to do to stop that? I'll tell you very simply. Don't believe what you read. Don't believe what you see. Don't take everything. Now we have AI. Don't take everything you hear from AI as the word of God or whatever it is you worship. Do not take AI as the final say all be all. I honestly feel sorry in a way for the younger generation. The reason I say that is because when was the last time you picked up a book and just did your research? You need multiple sources, unfortunately, in today's world. You can't get it from just one source. I have to piece the puzzle together, right? I can't both literally. If you believe Fox or CNN or MSNBC, they have blatantly been caught in lying. And since Obama's administration put out that, that the media doesn't have to really truly be truthful, it's entertainment, that took away the purpose of what the media was. And that's what it needs to go back to. There needs to be a law passed that states, if you want to do, the entertainment, watch Keeping Up with the Kardashians, okay? That's just where I'm at. If you want drama, perfect show for you, right? Where literally somebody becomes famous for doing absolutely nothing, doesn't create nothing, loves drama, it has not changed anything, right? And right now, we as a nation have a serious problem, both internally and externally. And I know most people, you're right. If you took 9 out of 10, they want to see America succeed. If you talk to the average person, they're not really thinking about religion. They're not thinking about politics. They just want to be able to have a normal job where they can afford to live, have a vacation at least once a year, get to talk to their family, right? Take their kids out to the mountains or the beach, have a normal day, have a normal weekend. Go have a cup of coffee, sit down, at your local Starbucks, right? It's that's all they want. That's all I want. I want to be able to feed my family and enjoy what little piece of time I have on this little speck we call Earth, this little piece of dirt, right? I'll never forget the picture of Voyager. I'll never forget that picture of Voyager. It's how many, what is it, millions or billions of miles away now? I don't know. It's been out in space for what, a good 5 decades? I wish Carl Sagan were still around. He helped launch that satellite, Voyager 1 and Voyager 2. What would he say? I love Michio Kaku. I love Neil deGrasse Tyson. I love those guys, right? And they bring up some valid points. They said without a Cold War, we won't advance technologically. And that's the truth. Am I happy about a Cold War? Absolutely not, because it causes a lot of issues. But at the same time, hey, you got to get to the moon somehow, right? So that's where I'm at on things. And I feel we could easily fix that.
Yeah, yeah, great advice. And we have a minute or two left. Do you have a final message you want to share with the listeners? Anything?
Yeah, so thank you for having me on your podcast, first off. The second thing I would like to say, or the last thing I would like to say, is that I started a company called CyberRST. I'm going to be bringing some things to the market that nobody else is offering right now. An actual academy, a hands-on apprenticeship academy to fix the current situation that we have. And I'm not looking to get rich off of this. I want to help people get a job. I want to make sure they have a career that they're going to be proud of. And the other thing that I almost forgot about, like I said, is quantum. I'm going to bring some things in the, that's not even out there because quantum is going to be the new war front. If we don't get our hands on that and start moving with it, not just AI, quantum has to be hand in hand with AI. They have to go together. And that's something, those are some things I'm bringing to the market that nobody else is willing to offer in this country. I'm trying to work locally with politicians and some other things to make sure that we can bring that right here to Florida and a couple other states.
I'll definitely leave a link to your website as well as your LinkedIn and the video's description. So for anyone
Love to hear from you
watching
guys.
or listening, check out those links. And amazing conversation, Jesse. Thank you for finding time in your schedule on a Sunday night to do this. And I appreciate that and looking forward to releasing this episode. Thank you again for joining.
Thank you for having me, Danny.